about the natural rate of unemployment, okay? When we draw the graph and we say this is full employment right here, what does full employment mean? Does it mean everybody's got a job?
4%.
It means that out of the workforce of the country, if we have 340 million citizens, there may only be 120 million who are in the workforce. To be in the workforce means you're 16 years old and you either have a job or you're looking for a job. Think how many people don't fit in there. Okay? So out of that workforce, what percentage have a job? Will we ever have 100% of them have a job? No. Why not? Well, it's just natural. In fact, for our purposes, I'm going to say 5%, just because it's easy. The unemployment rate at full employment is going to be somewhere around 5%. About 5% of the country are going to be naturally unemployed for two reasons. The two reasons: frictional unemployment, which is sometimes called transitional, and structural unemployment. We will always have some people in these two categories.
What about cyclical and seasonal?
Cyclical and seasonal we can account for, and we know that's out there, and that's figured into our numbers. Okay? So, what is transitional or frictional unemployment? Broadly speaking, it means you are between jobs. There are always people who have just been fired or just quit and they're looking for another job. There are always people who have graduated college and are looking for a job. You will not be one of those people. You will have a job before you graduate, right? Or I will find you. I will hunt you down and I will beat you severely because you know better. But there's always people between jobs. What's happened to that over time? What is it that keeps people, well, simple question, and I ask this all the time, I'll say, well, when you graduate college, how long do you think it'll take for you to get your first job? And you know what the typical answer is? What do you think?
6 months. 6 months.
6 months. Well, I figure it'll take about 6 months. And I get rabid about that. I think of you as being my kid, okay? And my first question is just what the hell do you think you're going to be doing for 6 months? You think you're going to sleep on my sofa or in your bedroom at my house, which I've converted into my game room, by the way? Do you think I'm going to be buying your car insurance and paying your cell phone bill? You think I'm going to be buying 6 months, my butt? I'm going to take 6 months to go find me a job. My daughter finished college out at LSU. And she called me when she was ready to graduate and said, Dad, could I move back with you and look around for a job in Gainesville teaching? I said, no, you cannot. And she found a job in Baton Rouge and started teaching, no problem. That would be transitional or frictional unemployment. I'm going to be looking for a job for 6 months. Not in my family, you're not. But that goes on all the time, right? Why is there less of this than there used to be?
Because people want to work.
I would like to think it's because people have a stronger work ethic and they want to go to work. But it ain't so. I don't think.
Because of the gig economy?
Partially the gig economy. More and more people are saying, well, I may not have a job working for an employer, but I can do this to make some money in the meantime. Good answer. What's another reason? Let me ask you, if you were 3-4 months from graduation, what would you be doing to look for a job?
Searching the internet.
Where on the internet would you look for a job?
Indeed.com.
Who?
Indeed.com.
Indy.com? Monster.com? Right? The internet technology has made knowledge, remember that knowledge about the market, has made knowledge much more accessible. We can go search for jobs on the internet and we can apply for 1,000 of them in one day. If you go back 20 years ago, you didn't have that capability. Okay? What's going to increase your particular probabilities of having a job before you graduate?
Internships.
Internship, your network, your communications, the people who know about you, your volunteer work, the relationships you have nurtured. Sure. So there's a lot less of this than there used to be. That's part of that question. Okay? What is structural unemployment?
That means when you have certain skills and certain,
They're out of date.
yeah.
Technological unemployment. When I went to high school, I learned bookkeeping with a pencil. If you learned how to keep books with a pencil and you were out looking for a job as a bookkeeper today, what's the first question you're going to get asked?
Do you know how to do Excel?
Do you know how to use Excel and QuickBooks? Because if you can't do it on the computer, I don't need you. So my skills, wonderful skills, are technologically out of date if I haven't kept up with my computer capabilities. Can you give me another example or two of technological unemployment? People who lose their job because they didn't keep up with the technology?
Something like the building industry, like building something, like cars.
Well, let's say automobile repair. Do you need to be computer literate to do automobile repair today?
Yeah.
There's a very expensive and very small computer inside each one of your automobiles. And if you as a mechanic don't know how to hook it up, run the diagnostics on it, and from the diagnostics figure out how to fix an engine, you have no future as a mechanic. You may be a part changer, and you can keep changing parts till finally it works, but you're not going to stay in business very long. I'll tell you another area where there's technological unemployment. Teaching. When we advertised to hire a new faculty member out here today, you had better have some experience teaching online. Teaching using Canvas, using Connect. Because if you say, I'm a wonderful classroom teacher, but I don't use that technology stuff, you're not going to get a job. And you may be the best teacher in the world. But if you can't use the technology, you're going to get passed over. Any other areas?
Any.
Almost any. If you said, listen, I'm the best salesperson ever walked the earth. I can sell refrigerators in Alaska all year long. I am that good. The next thing I'm going to ask is, good deal. That's great. We need good salespeople. How are you at your record keeping and staying updated on the changes in the equipment? Do you read the technical manuals? Do you know how to use an Excel spreadsheet and Salesforce Inc., the software? And you say, I never needed that stuff. Well, you do now, Moose Breath, because that's what we use. And if you can't use it, we can't use you. And so your really good people's skills are diminished in value because you can't complement them with your technological knowledge. How many of you are familiar with the term depreciation, as in accounting? What does depreciation mean?
When the value of something like goes down.
When the value of something goes down a little bit every year. Sometimes because we use it and we wear it out, and sometimes it just gets old, right? Let's say that you had a person who makes $30,000 a year, and that may be low. Let's make it 60. What the hell? Make $60,000 a year. How fast, if that person never learns another thing, another piece of software, another piece of hardware, another app, if he never learns anything at all, how long will it be before he is worth half as much?
4 years.
4 years. Let's take 4 years. In 4 years, you will only be worth $30,000 a year, and you'll get that basically working at the car wash, okay? What does that mean? That means you lost $30,000 in value in 4 years. You see that? How much is that per year? $7,500 a year. You are going to depreciate in value $7,500 every year if you don't keep learning. You got that? So, we used to preach it as a nice thing. It's become a necessity. Lifelong learning. And it's not just learning particular apps or particular software. It's learning just to keep the mind active, just to remember how to learn. So what do you do to compensate for this depreciation in your value each year? What does your employer do?
Gives you training?
We send you to training all the time, although we do less of that now. Now, rather than sending you to Indianapolis for 3 weeks to learn the new software, what do?
Get a new person.
We either get a new person or we say, oh, download this new program. It's a self-taught thing, okay? It's a PowerPoint. It's only 900 slides. And I want you to be ready to use it next Monday. And we leave it up to you. Here it is. Learn it. My wife works for Roche Pharmaceutical, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And she gets those kinds of educational programs sent to her. She works at home, sent to her all the time. Here's our new procedure for this, this, and this. Here's the PowerPoint. It's got 45 slides and a test afterwards. Be sure you finish that by next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. That's how they're making you invest back in yourself, and they're investing in you. What can you be doing what should you be doing on your own? Investing in yourself. Go to take a community education class. You know what a community education class is? We have a brochure or a little bulletin that comes out. Santa Fe sponsors community ed in Gainesville, Alachua County, all the time. And it's got little courses on how to use the cloud for cloud computing. That's a new one that just came on. How to use Microsoft, how to use Microsoft Word, how to use Microsoft Excel. And you go in and you take class maybe one night a week for 6 weeks. You pay $100. You should be taking that kind of stuff. You should be continually improving yourself. What's a resume?
The things that you have, like the paper sheet that with the things that you have done or that you have
It
achieved.
should be, go ahead.
I was going to say how damn good you are.
Yeah, how damn good are you? It should be a fairly brief recital of all of the skills, talents, knowledge, abilities that you have and have demonstrated that I can pick up and absorb in about 60 seconds at the very most. Does it need to be 1 page long? Depends on who you talk to. Frequently, when you're among thousands of people competing for a job, you've only got 1 page. But if you're among thousands of people competing for a job, I'm still going to come find you and kick your ass, because that's not how you compete for a job. How do you compete for a job?
Letters.
Huh?
A letter.
Through the people you know, not by sending out a blind resume, okay? I mean, you might as well go down and buy a lottery ticket. What's the chances of winning the lottery on a lottery ticket?
Smaller than...
Here's how it works. I'm going to walk out of the classroom. I want you to wait 20 minutes. And then at the end of 20 minutes, I want you to dial any phone number you want. If I answer, you win. That's your chance of winning the lottery. 1 in a billion. What's your chances of getting a job with that resume that you sent out with thousands of other people to somebody who doesn't know you? 1 in a million. You don't do it that way, right? You fight this kind of unemployment. You keep your value up by investing in yourself. And if you're not investing in yourself, imagine yourself 10 years out of college and you haven't invested in yourself at all. What are your chances, A, that if we have to reduce the number of people in your department by 15%, what's the chances you're going to be one of those 15%? Very high. Very high, because you're still using your flip phone, you know? What are the chances that you're going to get promoted to the next job up with your flip phone? Not much. So you've got to continually invest in yourself. Technology requires that of you. And if you're not doing that, you're committing career suicide. If nothing else, learn a foreign language. Take a dance, learn to dance salsa. I don't care. Show me you're doing something with yourself, right? How about this? You work for me. Today's your first day. Here's my instructions to you. I have your resume. And by the way, I think they should be 2 or 3 pages long. I hope you have that much good to say about yourself and that you put them in the hands of people you know will read them. You don't send them out to strangers. Okay? That's why I think a 1-page resume is suicide. It means you've already lost the battle. Okay? Go ahead.
But I heard like since a lot of employers get like a numerous amount of resumes, they don't want like a long one. They
And
just
what did I
want-
just tell you? If that's the way you're looking for a job, by sending out one-page resumes, you fail. That's not how you find the jobs.
It's like if I have like 100 that are one page and then 3 or 4 that are more than one page, of course I'm gonna read those.
How about that? Some people, maybe if I've got 1,000 resumes I have to read today, and I find one that's 3 pages long, I'm not going to take the time. Okay. But maybe, I'm so tired of these one-page nonsense, maybe, oh, well, there's a little more here. At least I give it 15 seconds extra. I don't know. This is a personal opinion. If you're searching for a job using a one-page resume, you have missed the boat. You are not searching for the job the right way. And so I believe that you should be putting 6 to 15 resumes in somebody's hand that you already know, that already knows of you, and say, this is what I'm all about. And if you don't have enough good things to say about yourself to take up 3 pages, then make it 2. But also on the front should be a cover letter. What's the cover letter?
Your name, who you are.
It is a letter targeted to that person or that company that says, my resume will tell you some things, but this is who I am. And when I read your cover letter, I'm going to hear your voice, and I'm going to start making decisions about your character. How well do you express yourself? How good is your vocabulary, your grammar? Do you have a sense of humor? Do you give me more insight into who you are? How well you deal with stress? How well you work with other people? Can you tell me that in a one-page, single-spaced cover letter? Hell yes, you can. By the time I finish the cover letter, I should be thinking, this is fascinating. I can't wait to read the resume. That's what you put in people's hands. Not a one-page resume sent to a company you've never heard of. Okay? Besides technological unemployment, we have something called geographical unemployment. Any idea what geographical unemployment is?
like where you are, where you get employed, where you are by like, let's say like a farming job or something. Let's say something like agriculture.
Let me explain. Why would I be unemployed?
Because when the season is over, whenever you can't crop or grow whatever from that time, you're going to be unemployed because they have nothing else for you to do.
But I can't move because I got to be ready for the next season. Maybe? What else?
Let's say the factory that you were working at got moved, so.
Well, in that case, I have lots of geographical mobility. Well, go ahead. I interrupted you. Finish that thought.
So,
The factory moves.
and you're still in the same spot, but you're not able to find a job.
Why couldn't you move? Couldn't you move with the factory?
You're stuck to wherever you are.
That's what I'm trying to drive you at. Your mom's in an assisted living facility in town, and you can't move her, and you need to be in town to be with her. So when your job moves away, you can't go. Or when you read about a great job over in Omaha, but you're stuck in St. Louis, you can't go. Okay? Geographic immobility. Some of it real, some of it imagined. How big a travesty or a trauma would it be if you had to move and take a job in San Francisco and your daughter was just beginning her last year of high school? Would that be traumatic?
Depends how well you're paying.
Huh?
Depends how well you're paying.
Oh, if I get paid enough to hell with her, she's coming with me?
Damn straight.
My kind of guy. Yeah. I hear this a lot, and I understand it, okay? My daughter has grown up with the same friends for the last 11 years of school, and it's her last year of high school. She's got all her plans, her prom plans, all her blah, blah, blah. I just can't take that job. I mean, it's just not a good time for me to move. Is that a good argument?
In the moral way.
Huh?
In the moral way.
In the moral way. This is economics. We have no morality. I didn't get a laugh on that, folks. Come on. I don't know. I hear that a lot. My last year of high school, I moved from Taiwan to Killeen, Texas. Okay? And I didn't think any more about it than the man in the moon. But that's because I grew up every year or two we moved. And then I came to Florida and I hear these people about, yeah, me and Kenny, we've been friends since kindergarten. And I'm like, really? Wow. And then I hear stories, I can't move. My daughter's going to be finishing high school this year. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? They're offering you more money. It's your career. She'll get over it. Get in some unfriendly conversations doing that, okay? But you can have geographic mobility, okay? You can have, I think there was another kind I was going to mention. Structural. basic structures in your life or in the economy that prevent you from going to get another job when you lose the one you got. Always going to be some of that, always going to be some of that. We're going to guess it's about 5%. That's the natural rate. This is getting bigger because technology is going faster and people are not getting the skills to keep up. Okay? What else? What other technological unemployment is going on out there?
I mean, it's a little bit off topic, but it's they're recommending that instead of learning another language, you learn coding.
Yeah.
Because of this.
And in fact, some high schools are saying we ought to be able to teach coding and let you count that as your foreign language,
Yeah.
which I think misses the point entirely. The point of learning learning a foreign language is not simply to be able to speak in that language, but to understand that culture
Yeah.
and appreciate a different culture. Call me old-fashioned.
No, but I think that is very true.
I do, but
And
I grew up in a
since
different way.
I think I always get bothered by people who go and just brag about how many languages they speak, especially if they're just like, they have a monoculture mindset, because they miss the point. You learn a language not because, I think like if you're in a business setting, you could be in Brazil and Brazilians can be speaking English to you, but then when you start speaking like Portuguese back to them, then there's a different level of connection and a different level of relationship.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because now most of other countries speak English right now. Like, that's one of the most important things now, that you have to speak English because it's like the lingua franca or
Yeah,
whatever.
I think you're exactly right,
so like
but it's
if
still
someone-
superficial.
So
It is
like
very
if-
superficial.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like if someone that is from here or from whatever country speaks English and they speak in our language to us, that means something, because that means that he cares about the business that they're doing with us or whatever they're doing with us.
That's
and
right.
like that they want to have better connection.
Sure. Imagine yourself, if you're a native English speaker in the United States, imagine you meet someone in the shopping mall, and that person is trying to ask you for help in Japanese, and you don't understand a word. You know? Not only are you helpless, but you're beginning to wonder, probably at this stage, why don't you speak at least a little English? But if instead that a person approaches you, and even in broken English, is asking you the best way he or she can in English, do you become more sympathetic? And I think you do. Sure. Yeah. All right, what else? Are you okay with this? What's the unemployment rate today? 4.8%. Does that mean we're doing great? We're out here at full employment? Things are good?
No.
Depends on what?
Who you ask?
Who you ask? Why?
Where do you stand? Also? Like you said last class that like if you're
If I told you I'm a Democrat, what would I tell you about 4.8%?
that's high.
It's good.
It's not
By the way.
realistic.
That's,
As a Democrat or a liberal, I would say it's much worse than that. Unemployment is probably closer to 15 or 16%. Because some people we never get in touch with, some people are in the gig economy and partially employed, part-time employed, underemployed. It's much worse than that. That's what the liberal says. What does the conservative say?
not
Great.
bad.
4.8, it's closer to 2. Because there's a lot of people out there who have jobs that won't tell you about it. Some of them legal jobs, working under the table. Some of them illegal jobs, dealing drugs. But there's a lot more people working than you think. So, 4.8%, is that good? Well, it's been going down. That's the important thing. What's the trend? It's been going down. Is it good? Well, it's better. It's better than it was 2 years ago and a hell of a lot better than it was 6 years ago. Okay? Are there still some problems? Oh, hell yeah. Buy me a beer and I'll tell you about them. But it's better than it was. You just look at the trend.